Do you want to become a great actor or actress? I know you do. Have it beating in your heart. But did you know that you can learn from the best of the best for free? I bet you didn't know that. Stay with me and I'll show you how. Film actor Denzel Washington says, "Without commitment, you'll never start. Without consistency, you'll never finish." Now let's think about that just for a minute, because he knows what he's talking about. He's Denzel Washington. Without commitment. What is commitment? Commitment is something that you are dedicated to, that everything else around you is pushed aside, at least temporarily, so you can do this, so you can study, so you can go to this audition. You make sacrifices, but when you're committed, you love it. At least you should love it. Otherwise, why are you even doing this? If you're committed to a relationship, you sacrifice. But it doesn't really feel like a sacrifice, does it? It's because you love it. It's your passion. Is acting your passion? Then commit to it. That way you'll start. Without consistency, you'll never finish. Now, what is consistency? Consistency is something that you do day after day, hour after hour, consistently without fail. You make time to do it because you're committed to it. You see how those two words go together? Commitment, consistency. They go together. Now, before I tell you how you can learn from the greats, the great actors, let me share with you a few more quotes from other great actors. Maggie Gyllenhaal. Acting is a form of self-expression. It's not becoming someone else. It's not playing make-believe. It's about using the fiction of being someone else to express something about yourself. So let's go over that with a fine-tooth comb. Acting is a form of self-expression. This is why I say acting is all about self-discovery. If you discover yourself, and the more you discover yourself, rather, you can express yourself more accurately of who you are, which gives you confidence to move ahead. But it takes time to reflect on that. If you don't take time for this business, and like Denzel Washington says, if you're not committed and you're not consistent, you're not going to allow yourself to express. She also says, it's not becoming someone else. A lot of times we think, I want to be that character. It's not about that. It's about self-expression. It's not about becoming someone else, because that someone else you don't know. You can relate to that person in the script. However, you always include yourself. And it's not about playing make-believe. How many times have you indicated something like, I'm angry, I'm excited? Okay, that's fake, okay? It's make-believe. You're not doing it. You're not committing yourself and being consistent about your own self-expression or who you are. And then Maggie goes on to say, it's about using the fiction of being someone else. In other words, you're not really that person. You're not really that sociopath. You're not really that superhero. It's about the fiction of being someone else to express something about yourself. This is so tremendous. The fiction of being someone else to express something about yourself, because the character needs you. It's not about you. Acting is a very humbling experience. It's putting yourself in the background, putting your character in the foreground to serve other characters in the scene. Montgomery Clift. Some of you may not have heard of this actor. He was one of the greats in the 20th century. He says, failure and its accompanying misery is for the artist his most vital source of creative energy. Let's read that again. Failure and its accompanying misery is for the artist his most vital source of creative energy. What do you think that means? What do you think that means? What is failure? Failure is a feeling. It's not a fact. Failure is a feeling. It's not a fact. Because if you keep trying, you can't fail. I always say to my students, if failure was not an option, what could you do? Now the answer, ideally, is anything. But failure and its accompanying misery. How do you feel when you fail? When you think, you believe you fail? You feel miserable, right? Okay, you have two choices. One, to sit in the misery. I'm a failure. I tried 3 times. Or you could say, you know what? I'm going to use this as a vital source of creative energy because I'm an artist. It's a vital source. It's like breathing. So think about it. Failure and its accompanying misery is for the artist his most vital source of creative energy. So if you dig into those feelings and say, you know what, I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to dust myself off and I'm going to dust myself off and I'm going to try again and again and again. Being consistent to your commitment, like Denzel Washington said, and self-discovery, like Maggie says, or self-expression. So for example, if you went to an audition, if you took a class, if you failed in a relationship, what do? It's not rejection, it's redirection. Remember that. It's not rejection. You weren't rejected, you were redirected. That person did you an actual favor, even though it may not feel like it in your personal life and in your professional life. It takes time to process emotions with your mind, which is what we need to do as actors and as human beings. Johnny Depp. I think everybody's weird. We should all celebrate our individuality and not be embarrassed or ashamed of it. Now, if anybody knew that or knows that, it's him. Consider all the different roles that he's played in the past. Edward Scissorhands, Willy Wonka. Have you ever seen that one? Whoa. But it's true. Let's go back to Denzel Washington. Commitment and consistency. Maggie, self-expression. Montgomery Clift, failure and creative energy. Now this all kind of intertwines with what Johnny Depp says as well. I think everybody's weird. I'm weird. I know you're weird. Actors are weird. We're creative. We're unique. And there's nothing to be ashamed of about that. We express ourselves as individuals, consciously avoiding conformity. And also we should celebrate our individuality, our weirdness, and not be embarrassed or ashamed by it. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen when I do this, or when I'm on stage. I wonder what my family and friends will think. I'm not sure. Exactly, you're not sure. You know why? Because they have their life, you have your life. You were given a life by God to live as you choose to live, hopefully for Him. But He gave you a free will. Never be ashamed, never be embarrassed about an audition, about a win or a fail. Celebrate it. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this audition? What did I learn from this relationship? Because you know what? It's not a rejection, it's a redirection. Now, all these people that I've mentioned thus far have given you, and here it is, given you great learning curves and great experiences that you can take with you. That's what I wanted you to take with you. That's what I wanted you to take away from this video. I already gave you the great things that you can learn and act on from people, from these 4 actors. Now, one little tidbit before I go. Going online is not acting. No, going online is not acting. That's called research. There's a big difference between research and acting. Many times in this high-tech, low-touch world that we live in, we think that this is, I'm an actor. No, you're a researcher. You're doing research. That's all you're doing. To a certain degree, the video that I'm giving you, that's acting. You can do that, make reels. However, it's still research until you step out onto a stage, until you go in front of a camera to audition or in a rehearsal. You're not acting. You're researching. You're doing preparation work. That's what you're doing. I want you to remember this. If you want to become a great actor and get paid doing what you love to do, you need to understand the difference between research and acting. Research and action. Lights, camera, those 2 things, what are they? They're preparation. And then they say action. That's when you actually act. You don't act with lights. You don't act with camera. Those things are preparation. If you need a coach, I may be the one for you. DavidThompsonCoaching.co, DavidThompsonCoaching.co. I look forward to hearing from you. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And remember, you can learn from the greats. And remember, you've learned from the greats today, and it's free.